For my intern implementation project, I chose the D.E.A.R, or drop everything and read strategy. Drop everything and read strategy was listed as one of the strategies in the school's improvement plan as a way to improve student outcomes on standardized tests. The D.E.A.R strategy was coupled together with A.R, which is a very popular reading program that has been proven to increase reading levels and comprehension. The Accelerated Reader Program is a district initiative to improve student performance. It has been implemented mainly in K-8 and ELA 9 to 12 grades. However, Accelerated Reader can be used in other content areas as a way to differentiate instruction. On this SchoolNet site for the district, there is an AR book finder. Once teachers log in, they can click on the AR book finder and find several books in their content area that deal with various topics for students to read. In order to encourage students to participate in the Accelerated Rebel Reader Program, incentives were devised based on how many books students read, AR books students read, and whether or not they receive a score of 85% or higher on AR quizzes. And if they, based on certain levels, if they met the criteria for each level, they received different prizes. Some of the prizes included a gift card, lunch to Subway or another restaurant, or just a plain certificate for at least reading one book. Why was this strategy chosen? Based on the 2014 OGT social studies test scores, it is obvious that something needs to be done to improve student performance on these tests. As you can see, in the 10th grade, the majority of the students score either basic or limited, which is represented by the green and the red bars. Now, as 11th grade, students in 11th grade taking the test, the performance does improve. However, the majority of the students still score at the basic or limited level on the social studies OGT. 12th grade, you can see for the 2014 test, too many seniors or 12th grade students were limited on the social studies OGT. This is important because not passing any of the parts of the OGT will keep a student from graduating from high school. Again, on the science OGT test 2014, 10th grade level, the majority of students scored basic or limited on the test. Again, the scores improved for the 11th grade, but still too many students are scoring basic or limited. For the 12th grade, scores improved quite a bit, but still there are too many students scoring basic or limited. And one of the reasons students struggle with the science OGT and social studies OGT, because there is quite a bit of reading on the test. The test is both tests are basically all reading tests. Students do not have the prerequisite vocabulary to understand the questions on the test. And it doesn't have to be the content vocabulary. Students struggle with comprehending or understanding the questions that are being asked on the test. So therefore, having a reading strategy is perfect, or was one way to help students to address this problem. Okay, the formative data for this project included accelerated reader quizzes for the first, second, and third marking periods, and a midterm STAR assessment for the fall and winter. Now, the AR program was started in ELA classes first in October after teachers received PD on how to set goals for the reading goals for the students. And based on that data that was collected, as you can see from the first marking period, there are a total of 1,362 students. You only had 18 students participate. And 98.9% were at risk. At risk meaning that majority of the students received a code of A to F, with majority of the coded students were coded as non-participation. They did not participate in AR at all. And as you can see, when AR started in the ELA classes, that's during the second marking period, you see the number of students participating increase to 80. Still a very low number if you have 1,000 students in your building. So that number of students not participating drops. You can see the average AR score increases to 76.2. You can also see that the ATOS, or the basic readability level of a book, is increased to 4.1. The results by grade level, as you can see, again, second marking period, the number of students participating in each grade level increases than from the first marking period. Third marking period, the participation decreases somewhat. And that's probably because that's when the majority of the testing started. You had the new PARC test come out. You had the performance-based parts of the in the course exams be administered. The STAR test was taking place. You had continuation of the NWEA. So therefore, students did not have a lot of time to, focus on AR, nor did the ELA teachers did as well. But like we said, the drop everything and read strategy really began second semester. Now, based on the midterm STAR assessment, which has the student growth percentile, you can see that the post-test scores show improvement over the pre-test scores for all, for 3 grades except for the 12th grade. The 12th grade, there's a drop by 10 points from the pre-test to the post-test score. Summative data for this, for the IIP included the AR school-wide summary from fall to spring. You had a STAR fall to spring with SGP for 2014-2015 school year. And also there was a survey administered to teachers to evaluate drop everything and read /AR. The summary AR data, which is the first chart, has a total number of students participating in AR at 118. The ATOS level for school for all grades is 4.1, which was a big increase over 2.9 from the beginning of the school year. The bottom chart is the STAR data. As you can see, for the 9th, 10th, and 11th grades, the post-test scores increased. And the 11th grade had the biggest jump in their post-test score. They went up 95 points. And their independent reading level increased 1 whole point. 12th grade, their post-test score stayed the same and there was no increase. Survey results. There were a total of 15 questions with 2 questions specifically for ELA teachers. Only 24 of 67 educational staff in the building responded to the survey. However, based on those, the results of that survey, the majority of these 24 teachers did attempt to implement D.E.A.R during the homeroom advisory period. Majority of teachers indicated that D.E.A.R would be more successful if it had began or started at the beginning of the school year. Also, they indicated that more reading materials would also make it successful, such as a classroom library, subscriptions to content specific magazines, etc. Now, while the data, for the most part, shows that a very small number of students participate in AR, the data is encouraging and does suggest that supplementing a program such as AR with another strategy like D.E.A.R can have success if it's implemented correctly, which would be at the beginning of the school year. And many of the teachers also indicated on a survey that they would like to have had more PD before the first day of school about AR and what it was about and how to implement it, and even suggestions about what types of reading materials they would be able to have or they would like to see in their classroom. Thank you.